Russia points its military might at Ukraine. Thousands of Michiganders look homeward and wonder at what the future holds. The fighting is 5,000 miles away, but which impacts are likely to show up in your life? And an important deadline approaching for those behind on their property taxes. Today is Sunday, February 27, 2022, and this is Flashpoint. Hi, welcome to Flashpoint. You are apparently not allowed to relax anymore. Just about the time you see the coronavirus pandemic beginning to abate, Russian troops pour into Ukraine in a move that some are seeing as the largest military action in Europe since World War II. It is a massively destabilizing action, and most in the West are left to wonder at what kind of endgame Vladimir Putin, the Russian Sphinx, is envisioning. Clearly, he longs for the long-lost Soviet Union. Now it's up to the rest of the world as to whether that can happen. And let's note that China is watching the world's tolerance for sovereignty busting right now. To put it in Shakespearean terms, Jan Cassius has a lean and hungry look. So yes, the stakes are enormous, certainly true for the thousands of Ukrainian Americans who live in Michigan. We're going to talk to two of them about their hopes and fears. Also, what are our risks? Sanctions against Russia are option A, maybe A, B, and C, but it doesn't seem like Putin's style to just absorb the hits. What might he do? What kind of cyber or long-distance mayhem do we need to be considering? We'll talk about that too. And a little later on, we're going to talk with the Wayne County Treasurer about an important deadline on the horizon that could mean the difference between keeping and losing your home, because foreclosures are back. It's all today on Flashpoint. Well, as difficult as it has been to watch the events unfolding in Ukraine, if you are Ukrainian, it is so much more so. Michigan is home to nearly 40,000 Ukrainian Americans, all of them following every dispatch and hoping against hope that the massive Russian army can be held at bay. Let's talk about it with Olena Daniliuk and Boris Potapenko, both members of the Ukrainian American Crisis Response Committee of Michigan. I'm so sorry for what both of you are going through. I know these are very fraught and tense times. Olena, let me start with you. Can you give me an idea of what this has been like for you watching this unfold these last couple of days?
The events unfolding for the last couple of days are devastating, troublesome, and we are in anger. Our Ukrainian American community is very grateful for the support the United States provided to Ukraine in the past few weeks, and especially last days, but particularly by sharing equipment and intelligence. But at the same time, so many members of our community are disappointed in the sanctions package announced on February 24 by President Biden. And for right now, our people, we are in deep grief, and we support Ukraine, and people who are in home, our families, our relatives, our friends, they suffering tremendously. Yeah. They suffer minute by minute, and it just ruining our hearts, and we feel helpless.
I certainly can understand and sympathize with that sense. It does feel helpless. Boris, what has this been like for you to watch?
Well, our community came together back on Thursday for a large rally. And prior to that, we held 2 prayer services. And our public officials and our neighbors and the other ethnic communities have been so supportive by coming out and expressing their concerns and their grief right along with us. So it's brought us together to share our concern, but at the same time, the situation in Ukraine has reached such a critical tipping point where the country is fighting, and our brethren, my nephew, is in the territorial defense of Kyiv. And I learned today that Russian agents, so-called Spetsnaz, are in the heart of the city, blowing up buildings, killing people, and it's over the top.
It certainly is. Olena, I'm curious. I want to go back a couple of days. When Vladimir Putin gave that long, rambling, to many people's way of thinking, very strange speech, he tried to reach back into the 17th century. He went way back and felt that historically that Ukrainians and Russians belong together, that you're the same. Does that argument, does his rationale make any sense at all to you?
Of course, it's a lie. And as you know, Putin is always would be using all this lie and to brainwash all people, and he also to misinformed. And in centuries, Ukraine is a very long-standing country, and it has a very long history. And Russia, what was named Russia, it was before it Moscovia and was named by Peter Great.
Right.
And historically, Ukrainians, it's an independent nation right now, and they are fought for their independence for many, many years. And for the last 30 years, we are independent. And Putin couldn't stand it. He wants to make our history his history because he doesn't have his own history. And he wants to slave Ukrainians back, and he wants to extinguish them. That's what he's doing right now.
He also, interestingly, because we think of the Soviet Union as being atheist, he seems to be trying to make himself a focal point of orthodoxy, and talked a lot about the way that faith, that the Russian Orthodox faith got its beginnings in Kiev, and that somehow that joins the two of you together. Olena, is there a faith component of this that anybody buys at all?
So he took our Orthodoxy religion as his own, because the Orthodox religion is started in Kievan Rus, back way in Ukraine, and it's Ukrainians in Ukrainian beliefs. But also he claims that Kievan Rus is his birthplace for their religion. But during Soviet Union, all church, Russian church, was mostly by KGB agents, and he ruined Ukrainian Orthodox Church. And by claiming and shifting a point, that's why he always tried to claim that Orthodox Church is Russian.
Yeah, it didn't feel like anybody in Ukraine was buying it. I'm not sure the folks of Russia actually are either, but it's really difficult for us to tell exactly the way that they're processing the information coming out of the Kremlin. Boris, we've all, I think, been touched and moved by these individual stories that we're hearing of bravery. The soldiers on the island who basically told the Russian warship, I can't repeat it, of course, on television, but we've watched people confronting soldiers. I don't imagine that any of that is surprising you and what you know about the Ukrainian character.
If I can just briefly reference the previous question.
Oh, sure.
4 years ago, the head of the Orthodox Church in the world, Bartholomew, proclaimed Ukraine's Orthodox Church totally separate and independent of the Russian Orthodox Church. This was a huge step towards global recognition of Ukraine's sovereignty, independence, and its will to pray, live, and be free as themselves. As to the horrifying pictures on our screens, certainly war is war. Ukraine knows war. For 8 years, I've been to the war front over 25 times. I've taken delegations from Washington, from Canada, from the European Union. There has been an 8-year war. There are over 300,000 veterans, reserves from that war. There's a 250,000 standing army that's fighting now, and the reserves as well.
Yeah.
Ukraine knows what it means to spill blood. But Ukraine also knows how precious and how you need to fight for your freedom. Freedom is never given. You have to fight for it.
And we're watching them do that. We're watching extreme acts of bravery. Olena, I know you're mostly worried about Ukraine, of course, but where are your fears about where this is all ultimately headed? I don't imagine you, like many others, believe that Vladimir Putin is going to be finished once it's just Ukraine.
My fear is that Ukraine right now would be demolished completely, and people would be suffering enormously. And what's going on right now is this fear of unknown, and Putin's special forces, they are taking Ukraine like over in all parts. But also that would be huge problem for surrounding countries, because as we could see right now that Putin, he just leveraging his forces, and he's sure that he could take Ukraine and he wouldn't be punished for it. Yeah. And all countries around Ukraine, they knew that Putin will not stop there, because by killing democracy in Ukraine, he will move further. And now he is he's leveraging just his forces.
Before I let you both go, and I need to get to a break, but I want to talk about quickly here for Americans who want to help show their support for Ukraine and for Ukrainian Americans. You've got a couple of events coming up, including one this afternoon at Hart Plaza.
Yes, we're going to have a flash mob at 1 o'clock at Hart Plaza, and all of our fellow Americans who care about Ukraine are asked to come out. This is not going to be a long event. Flash mobs are usually very brief, but it's a chance to show ourselves to our fellow Detroiters and get the word out. There's also tomorrow there's going to be a very solemn event at the Ukrainian Holodomor Genocide Memorial in Washington, D.C. Representative Andy Levin is going to bring out a couple of dozen congressmen for a special prayer and recommitment to Ukraine by himself and his colleagues at this monument that really reminds everybody what could be in store for Ukraine.
A couple of opportunities there. Olena and Boris, I thank you both so much for your time. Our hearts are with you, and be well. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Devin.
You bet. We'll take a quick break. We'll talk about other risks for Americans in this entire gambit. This is Flashpoint on Local 4.
I didn't know I had a case.
I figured I could just take care of it later.
The hardest thing is telling someone you waited too long to pursue a claim.
But it happens all the time. Not knowing the legal system and the benefits you may be entitled to.
If you've been hurt, do something now. Call 855-75-EP-LAW, where winning is no accident.
From Independent Carpet One in Westland, and if you need new flooring, you have to come see us. We have one of the largest showrooms and warehouses in Southeast Michigan, packed with the best floor coverings for any lifestyle or budget. We have a huge selection of carpet, laminate, hardwood, and vinyl flooring, along with custom area rugs. Take advantage of warehouse pricing and our certified installers who will ensure your floor is perfect. For over 50 years, Independent Carpet One has been the one store for your perfect floor.
Gardner White introduces the new Beauty Rest Sustainable Mattress Collection with innovative technology, luxurious comfort, and designed with sustainable, eco-friendly, recycled materials from our oceans. Get this Beauty Rest Queen, just $9.99 with free power base. And sleep on it tonight with 0% financing for 60 months and free same-day delivery. Plus free TVs, free MasterCards, 2 free pillows, and a $100 grocery gift card. Only at Gardner White.
W-2s, 1099s, child tax credit change, standard deduction, audit, earned income tax credit, capital gains tax, small business taxes, benefits, grace period. Whoa! Yeah, taxes can be overwhelming, and this season could be more confusing than ever. You've got questions, and Monday morning on Local 4 News Today, Help Me Hank has experts on the line with answers. Don't miss Help Me Hank, Tax Help for You, a live special event, Monday morning starting at 6 on Local 4 News Today.
All right, welcome back. Let's talk now about what the stakes might be in our own personal individual lives on this side of the Atlantic and this far away from the trouble we're watching in Ukraine. Very happy to have with me now the former Senior Director for Counterterrorism at the National Security Council, now an Associate Professor with the Gerald R. Ford School of Public Policy at the University of Michigan, Javeed Ali. Javeed, I really appreciate your time. A lot of us are sort of just spitballing the kind of ramifications that this could have in our lives. But this is kind of what you've done for a living for these many years. What were the first worries and concerns that popped into your mind?
Devin, first, great to be with you. And certainly there are a lot of things that potentially could happen, but I still believe that most of them would fit into the low probability category, which is a good news sign. But in terms of the things that we just all need to be on the lookout for, when it comes to Russia, they are, I would say, the world's most sophisticated cyber adversary facing the United States. And Russia and other Russian-based elements, whether they are or not connected to the government, have launched cyber operations and attacks against the United States since the mid-2010s, perhaps even earlier. So we have seen a Russian playbook when it comes to cyber operations already. And what they've showed is they're very good. They can operate very quietly. And we generally don't know what they've done until after the fact. And that's a pretty disturbing sign in and of itself. So fast forward to where we are now, could there be another round of more aggressive Russian cyber operations launched from their very capable security services here? Again, that's something folks in DC must be thinking hard about. And hopefully the answer to that is no, but they have the capability. And again, they have demonstrated that they can attack us in the past. Whether they choose to do so in the future is something we have to watch for.
My hunch is that everything that has been leveled against Vladimir Putin so far were the things that he absolutely expected and knew were the costs of what he was doing. And I guess we have to worry about whether he will respond in kind. But it seems to me, Javid, that there was a success story in American intelligence going into this. Almost everything that we thought was going to happen ended up happening, and we seem to be able to tell the rest of the world, here's what they're doing. Our intelligence on that front seemed really strong.
Yeah, that's a great point, Devin. And I came from that world. I was knee deep in the intelligence community for 15 years before I served a year in the White House. And this is a really risky proposition for the United States too, because looks like we've collected all this very detailed and exquisite intelligence on Putin's intentions and mindsets and probably communications with military commanders. And that kind of access is pretty rare and I would think pretty fragile. So the Biden administration politically has taken at least parts of that intelligence stream and then released it publicly. Now, President Biden or any president is the commander in chief. They have that authority. But being a former intelligence person, I can tell you the collection agencies grumble when that happens because their biggest concern is we have this unique ability to collect this kind of intelligence to support policymaking, not to inform the public. And when you reveal it to the public, you potentially are going to lose a really unique access point or a source and a method. And then the question is, how do you restore that insight that you theoretically have now lost? And the Russians must know that we have captured some of these communications or conversations. And so they're doing their own counterintelligence damage control to figure out how to stop that going forward. So this is a constant cat and mouse game in the intelligence world. But from my perspective as being a former intelligence officer, this is unprecedented. I've never seen an administration declassify this much intelligence this quickly and with these kind of implications.
Cyber preparedness and the kinds of things that we're talking, I guess, is a different kind of readiness. And this next question is on its face, I'll admit, absurd. This is going to remind me of that Saturday Night Live skit when the reporters kept asking, where are we going to invade in Iraq next? Or these kinds of weird questions. But where do you think our biggest vulnerabilities are when we look at, our electric grid? We've talked about before that there's way too many little sort of portholes and mouse holes where do you see our biggest vulnerability? Is it that I wake up one day and my cell phone doesn't work, or is it something else?
Unfortunately, in the cyber domain, the vulnerabilities are infinite. And unlike in the physical world, where there are certain physical measures that you can take to shore up those physical vulnerabilities, they're infinitely more complex in the cyber world. And again, the adversaries get a vote too. So anytime we do try to patch some of these cyber vulnerabilities, and that's why doing your software updates and patches are really important. They'll just hunt for the next one, and that is something that is very profound, I would say, in the cyber domain. So it's really hard, Devin, to pinpoint, well, we're most vulnerable in this part of our critical infrastructure versus another. I think we're very vulnerable. The question, though, is despite the vulnerabilities, work hard to stay on the offense, make sure we have a strong defense, make sure we have a high level of cyber awareness and hygiene, but also signal to adversaries like Russia that if you dare try to launch cyber operations against our critical infrastructure, the consequences for you will be even higher than they are now. So that's where deterrence comes in, and really what I would call sort of coercive diplomacy. And no one likes to kind of brandish those kind of messages. But again, if Russia would be provocative enough to go in that direction here based on what's happening in Ukraine, even though I think that's a very low probability, we would have to respond significantly. And I don't think that response would be contained just in the cyber world. We may have other options on the table. So this is pretty high stakes when it comes to our cyber preparedness here inside the United States. We are very vulnerable, but again, we can impose some serious costs on any adversary who dares to try to attack us that way.
It makes the old Cold War that we all got so accustomed to seem so quaint. We knew where the missiles were. We knew each side had spies. But this fabric is so much more complex and complicated now, no doubt about it. Javid, thank you so much for your thoughts on this. I really appreciate the time.
All right, great to be with you, Devin. Thank you.
You too. We'll be back with more. This is Flashpoint on Local 4.
Get the best deal on iComfort at Gardner White's President's Day sale. No one beats our guaranteed lowest price on all Serta iComfort mattresses. Exclusively at Gardner White, save an additional $200. Plus, take an extra 10% off. Plus, we pay your tax. Plus, get a $100 grocery gift card. Plus, we make it easy with 0% financing up to 60 months. And free TVs, free MasterCards. All in stock with free same-day delivery. That's why there's Gardner White and no one else. Detroit's #1 mattress store.
Now's the time to upgrade your motorcade during our President's Day sales event. Grab monumental deals, like a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Limited. Returning FCA employee lessees can lease for $398 per month. Or competitive owners can get up to $3,000 in Conquest bonus cash on the all-new Wagoneer. That's right, returning FCA U.S. employees can lease a Grand Cherokee L for $398 per month. Or competitive owners can get $3,000 in Conquest bonus cash on Wagoneer. Hurry into a Metro Detroit Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer.
Going home for the holidays often brings great joy, but can also be very stressful. For those who spent the holidays with their older loved ones, this offered an important opportunity to observe their physical and mental state to determine whether they may require additional help. At Samaritas, we provide exceptional faith-based care with daily activities that keep your loved ones happy and thriving for plenty of celebrations ahead. Call 833-505-CARE to schedule your tour today.
Oh, this isn't real.
You've been transported back in time to find love.
I cannot believe I'm here. We're in a fairy tale. More etiquette, chivalry, being proper. I'm loving this.
15 other dudes and one girl.
May the best man win.
What happened to class? What happened to gentlemen?
Sorry, I just need some air.
You didn't have to be with her last night.
Oh, God.
The Courtship premieres Sunday, March 6th on NBC.
All right, lastly, finally this morning, before we go, I want to talk about a problem that is going to surface for a lot of people who maybe have gotten used to the fact that foreclosures were not happening through a lot of the pandemic. Well, that policy is changing. Let's talk about it with Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. Eric, really good to have you on the program at a really important time. Before we get to these deadlines that are coming up, let's talk about policy. Is it right that we're going back to foreclosures now after we had a year or so where they weren't happening?
Well, we were able to have no foreclosures for occupied properties in 2021 and no foreclosures at all in 2020. But, you know, Devin, there are a lot of programs available now. There's money that's come from the federal government through the state that's allowing us to help taxpayers more than ever before. And we just want people to apply for these funds to take advantage of the programs that we have. And we have some individuals who are chronically delinquent. What I mean is that they have multiple years of delinquency and have defaulted on several payment agreements with us. But there's still a lifeline for them. If you apply for the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund, which is a grant that's available to taxpayers who are behind on their mortgages, taxes, utilities, they can still get a year extension. So we're encouraging everyone that's behind owner-occupied properties to apply for the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund. And you just dial 211 and you can reach someone to help, and we will extend that person for another year. So we're just making it important that someone makes the effort. We're making all these programs available, but someone has to make an effort You're not going to be automatically taken out of foreclosure.
Right, and we're talking about a lot of properties. Almost 6,000 owner-occupied properties in the county, almost 10,000 non-owner occupied, which are things like rental units and things like that. But you do have this matter where, especially in the city of Detroit, Erica, where you're well aware, we've got so many people upset with believing that they've been overassessed, overtaxed for years. That's kind of a separate, fighting that on one front is kind of separate from what you're talking about, which is being on record as kind of putting together a plan, right?
Yes, well, we receive the taxes that are not paid the first year from the cities, and it's our job to collect the delinquent taxes. And our numbers are going down. We still have about 4,000 owner-occupied properties that's scheduled for foreclosure, and 7,000 of the renter-occupied properties. And I expect that number to continue to drop. We have, if someone applies, like I said, for the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund, then they'll automatically get another year out of foreclosure. They'll get extension for another year.
And that's what I was going to say. Really, the important thing is just having people make the call, because I think a lot of people get intimidated by what they know they owe. They feel like they can't pay it, and they're only putting themselves further behind, right?
That's true. We also have a hardship policy in our office, and we just encourage people to let us know their situation. If they communicate with us, say they've been sick, they have death in the family, they lost their jobs, we have a policy. The statute allows us to give extensions for another year to someone, but they have to reach out to us and let us know.
And I'm assuming you're expecting a lot of people have had a lot of hardships due to COVID, right? Over these last 2 years, that's changed. In fact, I only got about 30 seconds left, but that's an ingredient to take into account too, right?
That's right. That's right. We understand it. We've been talking to taxpayers. We just want them to reach out to us. We can help them, and they can reach us and send us an email, taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Go to our website, treasurer.waynecounty.com. We're going to have Saturday hours in March. We're extending our hours for appointments. More appointments will open up, and we hope that the taxpayers will take advantage of that.
We got to leave it there. Eric, thanks so much for the update on these important deadlines. Good to have you on the program.
Kevin, thank you for having me.
You bet.